Providence Alaska Medical Center is the largest hospital in Alaska. This is a letter that was just released to the people of Alaska from the medical staff at Providence Alaska Medical Center. We're writing to you as the Medical Executive Committee at Providence Alaska Medical Center. We're an apolitical body of physicians that represents the independent medical staff at Providence. Each of us is a member of the Alaskan community. We live, work, and play here. Our children attend school here. At this time, we feel we have an ethical obligation to be transparent with our community and share with the public the distressing reality of what's happening inside the walls of our hospital. Our caregivers are doing their best, just as they have been for the past 18 months of this pandemic. But while we are doing our utmost, we are no longer able to provide the standard of care to each and every patient who needs our help. The acuity and number of patients now exceeds our resources and our ability to staff beds with skilled caregivers, like nurses and respiratory therapists. We've been forced within our hospital to implement crisis standards of care. What does this mean? In short, we're faced with a situation in which we must prioritize scarce resources and treatments to those patients who have the potential to benefit most. We've been required to develop and enact policies and procedures to ration medical care and treatments, including dialysis and specialized ventilatory support. People from all around Alaska depend on Providence to provide medical care. For people statewide, unfortunately, we are unable to continue to meet this need. We no longer have the staff, the space, or the beds. Due to the scarcity, we are unable to provide life-saving care to everyone who needs it. Our emergency room is overflowing. Patients wait in their cars for hours to see a physician for emergency care. On a daily basis, our transfer center is unable to accept patients who sit in emergency rooms, and hospitals across the state, people who need care, their current facility is unable to provide. If you or your loved one needs specialty care at Providence, such as a cardiologist, trauma surgeon, or a neurosurgeon, we sadly may not have room now. There are no more staffed beds left. The letter goes on to encourage, basically beg Alaskans to wear a mask if they're sick or exposed to someone with COVID, to get tested and stay home, to get vaccinated, and quote, lastly, avoid potentially dangerous activities and situations that may increase your risk for needing emergency services or hospital care. Unfortunately, if you are seriously injured, it is possible there will not be a bed available at our trauma center to save your life. Signed by Dr. Kristen Solana Walkinshaw, who's the Chief of Staff on the Medical Executive Committee at Providence Alaska Medical Center, again, the largest hospital in Alaska. Joining us now is Dr. Solana Walkinshaw. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. Thanks for letting us feature this scary situation that's happening at your hospital. I imagine this is a very traumatic time.
It's quite traumatic. I feel like I'm very grateful to be here and to be able to share this message more broadly. We are really struggling at our hospital, and our physicians felt the need to reach out and really implore the community to do their part and get vaccinated and take really good care of themselves so that we can continue to take care of patients.
When I describe Providence Alaska Medical Center as the largest hospital in the state and as a key resource for the state, can you explain more about what that means? Obviously, Alaska is unique in terms of its geography and its spread. Is Providence the kind of hospital that people come to from all over the state, not only because of they might live somewhere where there isn't a major hospital, but even if they live somewhere where there is a hospital, it might not have the resources that Providence has?
Exactly. So we are the largest hospital in the state. We accept transfers from small communities and our critical access hospitals that are out in a little bit larger communities like Dillingham, Kotzebue, Nome. Patients who get sick out there and have a cardiology need, if they need a cardiology catheterization or a CABG, any of those surgeries, if they have a stroke and need specialized neurologic care with our neurologic interventionalists. Those people are waiting in their communities and are being held in the ERs where they are living in order to wait for a bed to come into Providence.
And once people get to Providence, it just took me aback too to read the description reported in the New York Times today, described in your letter, of people being told to wait in their cars. Even when they come for emergency care at Providence, if they can physically get to Providence, to your center, and they need to get in the emergency room, people are sometimes waiting in their cars for hours, even before they can be seen in the ER. That just seems untenable. It seems so unlike what you must be used to providing in terms of modern medicine.
Exactly. None of us signed up to and thought that we would be practicing these conditions. And we do have we have an incredible staff. Our ER physicians are working as hard as they can. Their nurses are doing everything they can. Yesterday, we had 10 patients in beds in the ER that were awaiting admission. 3 of them were ICU level care and didn't have an ICU bed. We didn't have beds for those patients. Meanwhile, while they're there, the other patients are waiting in the waiting room and in their cars to be seen.
In their cars. It's just remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Kristen Solano-Walkinshaw, the Chief of Staff at Providence Alaska Medical Center. Such a difficult time. Thank you for helping us understand tonight. Please keep us apprised. We'd love to have you back, particularly if there is response from the people of Alaska and things start to turn around. We'd love to be able to spread the word and talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be right back. Stay with us.